I am going to be researching soil restoration in food insecure areas for an intro environmental studies class. And first off, I don't really know much about soil restoration, what it is, or how people go about doing it, so I'll probably just do a general Google search first just to see what sort of things soil restoration encompasses. So the first link will take me to Google Scholar, which probably is a little too specific for what I'm trying to look for now, so I'm not going to pick that even though I probably should. So, educational resources looks good. Okay, so this is, I can see that this is from another university, so I'm gonna say it's pretty viable. So what is soil restoration? Fantastic, that is exactly the question I want to find out. So I would probably save this source just as like a brief overview of my topic. Okay, cool. So this has a lot of great resources. The words that I would kind of what I would start doing with this is kind of see what, I guess, buzzwords pop out to do more in-depth research later. So here I'm focusing on soil amendments. Looks like it would be relevant. And removal of topsoil would be pertinent to food insecure communities. So cool. So this additional information looks, I would probably save these different departments just because they might have more like data, I guess, about the techniques and like what those techniques do. So what I'm gonna do now is go down to the references, see if there's anything that would be relevant to food insecurity and soil restoration in their sources cited. So no. Oh, glossary of terms. That's very useful. I would save that. Urban management doesn't really pop out at me. What is a watershed? No. Using compost in your landscape. Okay. Well, this was a good overview. This glossary is really useful too, just as like a overview thing. So okay, so I would take some of these terms and probably use these as search terms in a more advanced search engine. Or, so go back here. and type in, let's do let's see what soil nutrients brings up. Okay, so this is the first time I'm on my college library's search engine. So I'm gonna refine my search, scholarly and peer-reviewed. And I don't really want a newspaper article, so I'm just gonna click journal and book chapter. And yeah, okay, so let's see what we've got. Soil nutrients influence spatial distribution. Historical, we test soil resource based on niche. Okay, that is a maybe. This isn't really what I'm looking for, so I'm gonna skip over that. This looks like more agricultural, like mass farming thing, so I'm not gonna do that. So seeing some of these titles is helping me kind of focus what I'm gonna put my paper on in general, just because like a lot of these are like community or like geologically specific, and so that makes me think like, oh well, I should be focusing just like where I'm thinking about my soil. So I was thinking more kind of developing nations or underdeveloped nations. So understory plant communities. Okay, so out of all of these, the very first links seem the most useful, I guess. I might try adding, go to advanced search and type in succession, because I know from previous knowledge that succession has an impact on what sort of plants and animals can live in a certain ecosystem. What was another one? And soil maybe restoration. Okay, let's see if that brings up anything different. Okay, this one looks really interesting. So I'm going to skip this first one just because in the overview it says highly dependent on nutrients from the atmosphere, and I'm more interested in using like replanting trees to restore soil. Okay, so vegetation restoration on soil, organic compound sequestration, multiple scales. Okay. So I'm going to choose this one because Okay, so I'm choosing Article 3 because it kind of out, it looks like it might kind of talk about how the soil can affect vegetation and plants and animals in the area. So pick that. And this is a credible source, so even before, oh, let me go to the abstract real quick just to find out. Okay. Okay, so just reading over the abstract is just giving me kind of an idea of what the whole article is about. And it seems like what they did was more of just like testing different possible situations instead of restoration. So even though I might not be able to use this source, even though the source isn't like exactly specific to what I'm trying to find out, it is a good kind of reliable source about the effect of what adding minerals and having things grow does to the soil. So I would save this. And go back to here. So getting kind of fizzled out about soil restoration, so I'm going to move to the other aspect of my topic, which is food insecurity. So first off, I would want to know, like, what does food insecurity look like? I would want to like lay out some questions and answer those. So I'd be like, what does food insecurity look like? So and I would just do a broad search for in developing nations. Okay, so this I wouldn't choose this first link even though it looks like a good source, because it looks like it's more focusing on the economics of food around the world. So I'm gonna do poverty and hunger. This is a portal.org site, so IFPRI. I'm not sure what that acronym stands for, but okay, so this site says that they define what food insecurity looks like in developing nations as insufficient food supply, not insufficient food supply, but rather like the economic structure of the nations of those food insecure communities. So that's a little off topic, but I shouldn't disregard it. Okay. I'd probably save this just because it's a good, like, differing, like, it opposes the kind of mindset of food insecurity I had. Oh, look, okay, cool. I'm choosing this because it is from the United Nations Conference. That's a good source. And it's 50 pages long. Okay.
Awesome. Good to go.
Okay.
Can you start the recording right? Oh, perfect.